I did a video a couple of days ago prior to this one, and I spoke about the best time to trade gold. And I mentioned 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And I also mentioned that it's the same time that, in my experience, is the best time to trade any market traded by the big institutions, the banks, 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. And we're looking at the Nasdaq, another one of my favorite markets. And I want to show you that the same time and the same setup that I walked you through in my last video also applies to this market. So I've now put a couple of lines, and notice I'm using the same time frame on my chart, 5-minute chart. I've put some lines here at 9:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. because for my setup, it needs to be within that time window. That's one of my rules. Now, just as I explained in my previous video where I spoke about gold, my setup is very straightforward, and I look for the same setup. Okay, otherwise it wouldn't be a setup. Okay, now it's the same principle. I'm looking for reversals. That's my personality. So this week the market has pretty much repriced higher. Okay, so I am therefore always looking for a short setup. That doesn't mean I'll always get it, but that's what I will be looking for when the market is repricing higher. So what I want to see is I want to see exactly what I mentioned in my last video, which is firstly, at the right time, I want to see a sweep of liquidity. Okay, so we can put a line here, and I like to use a particular template to represent lines where I'm marking out liquidity. Okay, and so we can see there has been a sweep of liquidity, and it's in my time window between the 9:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. That's what gets me interested in this market. Okay, now as I explained in my last video, I'm an ICT trader, so I look for ICT signatures in line with my directional bias. Okay, once buy side liquidity has been taken, then I'm looking for a short setup. As I said, I don't force the trade. I need a setup. Okay, and there's two things that I really want to look for. One is a failure of a bullish signature, and then a formation of a new bearish ICT signature. Okay, so if I'm looking at a short, right, and that's determined by what the market shows me at that time. So here the market has taken it buy side liquidity. Therefore, my bias is now to the downside. Okay, in my Forex Recipes Lab community, I teach this strategy where we essentially trade every day. I haven't been trading over the last couple of weeks due to my heart surgery, so I'm still recovering from that. But the strategy, which I've documented in what I call the Nasdaq daily scalping strategy, is a bias-less strategy where I wait for the market to sweep one side, okay, of the price chart. Then I look for a setup expecting the market to then target the other side. Meaning if buy side liquidity has been swept, then I expect and wait for a setup to go short, expecting the market to then seek sell side liquidity, where there are stops residing below equal lows or swing lows where retail traders have taken long positions from. Okay, it's all documented here, and everything you need to see in order to identify that setup is all documented in this sequence of classes, right? The order flow, the different signatures to look for, the best times, how to identify the drawn liquidity, how to actually identify that setup, what you need to see, right? Things like the change in state of delivery, the market structure shift, and a whole range of things and the different models, okay? And so here we can see that at the right time, the market has taken out buy side liquidity on the left, okay? And then, as I said, I look for two specific things. One is the failure of a bullish signature if I'm looking for a short setup, okay? And I said, I'm looking for a short setup once buy side liquidity has been swept. That's what determines my bias, okay? So a failure of a bullish signature means the market is not respecting bullish order blocks or bullish fair value gaps or bullish breakers, okay? Here we can see the market has gone up and come back down, pull back into these down candles, this sequence of down candles, which are within this bullish fair value gap, which is essentially a bullish order block. I'm just going to mark them out. Okay, you can see the market's come down, okay, into that zone, right? That's a bullish signature. So the market's made a bullish signature, gone up, swept liquidity, okay, and then come back down and indicated that it is, well, it's trying to show that it's finding support at that level. But what can we see? We can actually see that price is being held by this bearish fair value gap. Look at how many times price is giving us the opportunity to enter into a short position from this bearish fair value gap. I like to use a template here for my bearish fair value gap, okay, so that I can visually distinguish it, okay? So you can see inside of my time window, the market, the algorithm, is holding price inside of that bearish signature after it has swept buy side liquidity, okay, at the right time. Now, I don't want to be a buyer in this market at these prices because that's premium pricing. So I am looking for a short setup. Okay, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is I'm wrong. How's that determined? Well, if the market doesn't hold within this bearish signature and actually continues to reprice high and goes above this swing high, that invalidates my setup. That means I'm wrong. And then I would have to take whatever loss that's incurred, okay? And I can position myself based on my own risk tolerance with the expectation that the market can reprice above here, at which point my setup is invalidated, and I would have to take the loss incurred by entering into a short position from that setup, okay? But I want you to notice a couple of things here. Number one, that once buy side has been swept, the market has formed a new bearish ICT signature. That's what my setup is. That's what I want to see, okay? And I want you to also notice at the right time between 9:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m., which is denoted by these lines here, okay, the market is holding, the algorithm is holding price within that bearish signature. And notice the bodies of these candles are held beneath the midpoint of that bearish ICT signature. That's enough for me to enter into a position in accordance with my position sizing that is within my risk tolerance, accepting that the market can reprice higher, accepting that I could be wrong. So I need to position myself in accordance with my own risk tolerance, my own risk parameters, and accept the fact that I may lose that amount of money if I'm wrong, which will be if the market invalidates this newly formed bearish ICT signature and continues to reprice higher above this swing high. Okay. Now, I need to also understand a target. Where could this market go? Well, as I said in my last video, there's two things that I use. One is time, and the other is some kind of a logical level where there will be sell stops below. Okay. So I want to be out of this trade if I'm taking a short position. I want to be out of this trade by 11 a.m., which is the end of the New York session. Okay. Or I also want to be taking profits as we're moving down. And I like to mark out, just like in my previous video, I mentioned, I like to mark out very clean, equal lows, because as retail traders are entering into long positions, they move their stops, okay, just below what they perceive to be support, which is where we have these swing lows or equal lows, okay? So as the market's coming down, I would be taking off my position, right, scaling out, okay? And then I want to be out of my position at 11 a.m., okay? So you can see this is 11 a.m., and that's pretty much where the low has been formed, okay, around that time, right? So it's all about consistency, identifying your setups, right? And the setup is not just how the chart looks, it's also time and the behavior of price at certain key liquidity pools, okay? And then understanding what you need to see on the charts to enter into a position in line with your directional bias and how you determine that directional bias. And all of those things are what I teach inside of Forex Recipes Lab. This particular community is focused on the Nasdaq. I teach how to trade the Nasdaq, and one of the beauties with this particular community, it not only has all these videos about all the different things that you need to learn about, but it combines all of those things into a strategy which I've called the Nasdaq scalping strategy, and there's a whole bunch of videos, okay, and rules on the strategy on what you need to see and what you need to look for with the trade examples, okay? And then inside of the community, you will see in the market updates channel where I have actually traded the market on specific days, okay? You don't see much here toward the end of September and early October because I've been in hospital where I've had to go in and I've had a heart operation and I'm now in recovery. But on the days where I did trade, there are tons and tons of videos on exactly what I was looking for on that day and how I traded that particular market. And it's all in line with the teachings inside of the classroom, okay? All these elements are then applied in real time inside the community where I trade, and I record my trades live and speak about the entries and the exits and the take profit level and the stop profit level and the adjustments made, okay, the trade management component. Also, inside of Classroom, there is a section here where I've got trade breakdown videos, right, where you can also come in and look at all the different trades that I've done. These are all live trade that I've recorded on my screen. Spoke about the entries, spoke about the exits, how I've set the take profits, how I've managed that trade. So there's a lot of material, a lot of resources here in Forex Recipes Lab for you to come in and learn a strategy. Once you learn it, then that's it. It's not something where you have to be here forever. Come in, you join for a month, you join for 2 months. It's up to you. You go through all the video lessons. You can join me live on the days that I trade inside of the community, okay, and watch how I, manage my trades, how I trade on that particular day, so that you can learn from someone who's doing it every single day, live, applying the lessons that I teach inside of Classroom, okay? So the setups are the same, right? Once you learn the setups, you understand what I look for. It's the same every day. That doesn't mean I get a trade every day. That means I look for the same things every day. And the beauty with the way that I trade the Nasdaq is that it's a system where I don't need to be very cognizant of the bias, because the market determines the bias. I've provided lessons inside of the Forex Recipes Lab classroom on how to identify the bias on the day. Okay, it's all documented here inside of the Nasdaq daily scalping strategy. So I invite you to join the Forex Recipes Lab School community and be with like-minded people, learn the strategy, come in for as long as you want. It's a monthly subscription. The link to join is in the description of this video below. You don't have to be, it's not designed to be a member forever. You can if you want to, because I trade and you can continue to be with like-minded people like myself and other students and trade with me if you want to, but it's not designed for that. It's designed for you to come in, go through all the different lessons. They're all video lessons, okay, and then watch me how I trade in the community, so that you can learn how I apply those lessons. That's what it's designed for, okay? So I hope that this video has been useful. Yes, it's all hindsight, but there's plenty of live trade examples inside of the Forex Recipes Lab community, and you can join and then be with me live as well, where I walk through my trades, okay? But you learn through hindsight, okay? If Michael, the inner circle trader, did not record his trade, did not record his videos, did not walk us through his principles in hindsight, I would not be able to have learned the principle that I've learned from him. So hindsight is important. That's how we learn, okay? You've got to go back and you've got to study the charts. That's how you learn. You've got to go back. For me, it's the same setup that I look for every single day, whether it's a short or a long. I look for the same thing. Go and look at the previous video that I did on gold. You'll see it's the same principles that I look for. So therefore, it's the setup that I'm trading. That means I can trade any market. If I have the same setup where liquidity has been swept at the right time, on the right day, and I get a failure, for example, if I'm looking for a short setup because buy side liquidity has been swept, I'm looking for the same things. I'm looking for that to happen at a certain time, a certain day within the week, preferably a key liquidity pool, okay? If it's a buy side liquidity pool that's been swept, then I'm looking for a failure of a bullish signature and a formation of a new bearish signature at the right time. I'm looking for a target of equal lows. I'm looking for a low to be formed at 11 a.m., at which point I want to be exiting my position. So it's the same stuff every day. And so if I can teach my brain to look for that same thing every single day, my brain will alert me, right? Because I'm training it, okay? So hindsight pays. You've got to study the charts. Go back, rewind my video, join my community, whether it's Forex Recipes Lab, or if you're more interested in gold and look at my previous video that I did, join the Forex Recipes VIP community. Okay, it's up to you, but you've got to learn from someone who does it every single day. I hope you have found this video useful. I hope you've learned something from it. You've got to do your part. You've got to go study the charts, right? You've got to be with like-minded people, join a mentor, be coachable, show up every day, practice, okay? That's what you need to do, because you need to do your part if you want to master this skill, okay? It's teachable, right? I've proven that it's teachable because I see my students do exactly what I teach them every single day in multiple markets, okay? Hope the video has been useful. Hope it's been insightful. Hope you've learned something. And I look forward to seeing you on the inside of Forex Recipes Lab, where you can learn how to trade the Nasdaq on a daily basis to be able to scalp the Nasdaq every single day. Look forward to working with you on the inside, and I look forward to talking with you in my next lesson.